This is Radio Nepal. I'm Kaushal Ghimire with the news, the headlines first. Top leaders of ruling alliance discuss government's common minimum programs, cabinet expansion and contemporary politics. Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal Prachanda directs Finance Minister and Governor to address economic problems in the country. Nepali Congress says the then coalition broke as parties involved failed to abide by commitments, and European Union strongly urges all member states to test Chinese arrivals for COVID-19. Now the news in detail. A meeting of the ruling coalition partners has decided to finalize common minimum program of the government. The meeting held at the official residence of the Prime Minister at Balwatar yesterday evening decided to introduce the government's common minimum program with a focus on issues related to people at large, corruption control, people's daily life, and other policy-level issues. Briefing the journalist about the meeting, Deputy Prime Minister and Home Minister Ravi Lamechane said discussion was not held regarding splitting the ministries in the meeting and no preparation was made in this regard. Deputy Prime Minister Lamechane shared that the cabinet would be expanded only after bringing the government's common minimum program and taking the vote of confidence of the parliament. Discussion was held regarding giving full shape to the federal government, formation of province government, as well as country's contemporary political and social issues. Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal Prachanda has discussed the present economic situation in the country with Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister Bishnu Paudel and Nepal Rashtra Bank Governor Mahaprasad Adhikari. The Prime Minister's private secretariat said in the discussions held at Balwatar yesterday, the Prime Minister inquired about the problems and challenges seen in the banking sector. On the occasion, the Prime Minister directed the officials to revise the monetary policy for reducing the interest rates and address the liquidity problem, taking necessary initiatives. Likewise, Prime Minister Dahal urged seeking ways to minimize the impact on the people due to the challenges seen in the economy. He further asked to stop issuing loans in unproductive sectors and inform people about the country's economy. Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister Bishnu Paudel has stressed the need for synchronization between economic policy and monetary policy for improving the national economy. During a department-wise briefing at the Finance Ministry yesterday, Deputy Prime Minister Paudel directed the officials to implement the measure to solve the problems seen in the nation's economy. The Economic Policy Analysis Department has pointed out 3 problems. The department said there was a lack of investable funds, low revenue mobilization, and increasing inflation. The department has said the volume of investable funds is improving. Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal Prachanda and CPN Unified Socialist Chair Madhav Kumar Nepal had discussed contemporary political issues. Prime Minister Dahal's secretariat said in the meeting held at CPN Maoist Centre's Parliamentary Party office at Singh Durbar yesterday. They dwelt on the Unified Socialist participation in the government. Prime Minister Dahal is seeking a vote of confidence from the House of Representatives on the 10th of January. European Union Ambassador to Nepal, Nona Dopre, paid a courtesy call on Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal Prachanda yesterday. The Prime Minister's Secretariat said during the meeting held at Balwatar, the two discussed about the matters relating to mutual interest. Likewise, Swiss Ambassador to Nepal, Elisabeth von Kappeler, called on the Prime Minister and discussed the matters of bilateral relations. You're listening to Radio Nepal's 8 a.m. English News Bulletin. Time for a short break now.
भाउजू दर्शन
भाग्यमानी बाबु राम्ररी आइपुग्नु भयो नि
हजुर राम्ररी पुगे उ चाहिँ मेरो कलेजको बेस्ट फ्रेन्ड
नमस्ते भाउजू
नमस्ते आउनु न भित्रै
हुन्छ भाउजू
अनि दादा त अफिस गइसक्नु भयो होला है
उहाँ त बिहानै हो हुन्छ तपाईहरु फ्रेस हुँदै गर्नु न म खाना तयार गर्दै गर्छु है
हस् हस् भाउजू
ओइ वाइफाई होला नि पासवर्ड माग्न
हे त पनि एनटीसी को सस्तो डे प्याक छदैछ नि
ए हो र
एनटीसी को डे प्याक लिन *1415# डायल गर्न
नेपाल टेलिकम राष्ट्रको सञ्चार
You're listening to Radio Nepal's 8 a.m. English News Bulletin. On to more news now. Nepali Congress has said the coalition failed as the other parties in the coalition did not fulfill their commitment. Organizing a press conference at party headquarters at Sanepa yesterday, Nepali Congress spokesperson Dr. Prakash Sharan Mahat said as the coalition partners were committed to continuing the then coalition, the Nepali Congress did not seek alternatives to form a new government. Spokesperson Dr. Mahat further said the Nepali Congress could not get enough time to discuss the alternatives to form a new government led by Pushpa Kamal Dahal. He further blamed the current coalition opportunists for having no principal coherence, saying the Nepali Congress would play an effective role as opposition in the parliament. The government of Nepal has directed the district administration offices across the country to shut down the crusher industries which were not registered or renewed. The Home Ministry issued such directives yesterday in a circular sent to the district administration offices of all 77 districts to shut down such industries operating illegally, according to the spokesperson at the Home Ministry, Parindra Mani Pokhrel. The circular was issued in order to regulate the extraction of stone, pebble and sand following the Environment Conservation Act 2076 and to implement the court's order in this regard. Nepal will be receiving 1.5 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines from the Global Alliance for Vaccine and Immunization, Gavi, next month. The Family Welfare Division under the Department of Health Services has informed that the Global Alliance for Vaccine and Immunization has confirmed to dispense the vaccine to Nepal on the 2nd of February. Division Chief Sagar Dahal said the confirmation had come that the vaccine would come from the United States of America under the COVAX facility. Nepal had written a letter to the Gavi on the 29th of December asking for supplies of vaccines. Meanwhile, the ministry has urged all to receive booster doses, citing the increasing cases of BF.7 variant of the COVID-19. The office of the Sudur Paschim Province Chief yesterday called on the parties representing in the Province Assembly to stake claim for the post of Chief Minister and the provincial government. The office of Sudur Paschim Province Chief has informed that the Province Chief has given the deadline of 5 p.m. on the 11th of January to the parties to stake claim for the government formation. You're listening to Radio Nepal's 8 a.m. English News Bulletin. Now on to some international updates. European Union officials are strongly recommending that all member states insist on negative COVID test from Chinese arrivals before they travel. Travel in and out of China gets easier from Sunday as part of the scrapping of the zero COVID policy. China is currently seeing a surge in COVID cases with reports of hospitals and crematoriums being overwhelmed. Some European Union countries have already introduced testing despite earlier advice that it was unjustified. Wednesday's recommendation on negative test came from the European Union's Integrated Political Crisis Response Group, IPCR. It also advised that all passengers on flights to and from China wear face masks, random testing of flights from China be introduced, and wastewater monitoring be conducted at the airports. Sri Lanka is set to hold its first national elections after its president fled amid political turmoil. Al Jazeera quoted officials saying the government polls would be held before the end of February after they were delayed by a year due to the COVID-19 pandemic. In a brief statement, the country's election commission said nominations for more than 8,000 councillor positions would be open from January 18 to 21, after which the vote must be held within 28 days. Now, the general weather forecast for the country for today, according to the Meteorological Forecasting Division. The weather will be partly cloudy in the hilly areas of Province Number 1 and mainly fair in the rest of the country. There are also chances of light snowfall at 1 or 2 places of the eastern high mountainous region. Well, that's all the news we had for this bulletin. But before wrapping up, let's have a reminder of the headlines once again. Top leaders of ruling alliance discuss government's common minimum programs, cabinet expansion and contemporary politics. Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dal Prachanda directs Finance Minister and Governor to address economic problems in the country. Nepali Congress says the then coalition broke as parties involved failed to abide by commitments. And European Union strongly urges all member states to test Chinese arrivals for COVID-19. Well, that's all the news we have for this bulletin. Our next bulletin in English will be at 2 in the afternoon. You can also listen to us online at our website www.onlineradionepal.gov.np. Keep listening to Radio Nepal and have a good day.